all that.
Or you want me to do that?
I don't know. One of us can do it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, this is the microphone. Dutch hurry. Righto, guys. Heaps of questions coming through about the motor, why the change, why the upgrade. And so we thought we'd jump on and just answer them. Question number one, why the upgrade?
The last motor was great. We had put just over 1,000 hours on the last engine, trouble-free, couldn't complain. It was enough power for the boat. But we did have an opportunity to go bigger, and we did. That's pretty much it. But, you know, some sort of underlying reasons, I suppose, would be more torque, a little bit more torque when you're trolling is a lot nicer, especially coming home in some crappy weather as well. And that's what we got in this. And the last engine that was on this, the Suzy 200, great engine, couldn't fault it, was 240 kilos. This is 239, and it's double the cylinders, which, you know, it's a no-brainer. Another reason that we got this was...
Hang on, we check the notes.
Sweet. They're not your notes. Don't read them.
I like to pretend I know something.
Yeah, so a couple of things is, yeah, when we're trolling, a little bit more torque, just so there's not as much push and pull, there's a bit more consistency. And we're going to be trolling at a lot lower revs now, which we'll get through the stats in a minute. And also faster cruise speed. Not complaining because the last boat would cruise comfortably at 20 knots. This one will cruise comfortably at 25 knots. Seems to be 24, 25 knots sort of seems to be the happy place. And yeah, again, we'll get to that in the stats.
Sorry. Alrighty. Another question we got, I guess, was why the change from Suzuki to Mercury, and comparatively why we didn't just go up in motor size with the Suzuki.
So we switched to the Merc because its 250 V8 is the same weight as the Suzuki we had on it, so we knew that it wasn't really going to be any great change to weight on the back end of the boat, and we're quite happy with the way that it handled. And more torque is never a problem, and you know, who doesn't want to go faster? This is the lightest in its class for its size. And probably some other things that we noted in the testing that I wasn't actually expecting is it's a lot quieter than the old motor. At troll speed, it's a lot quieter. At cruise speed, not that the other one was overly loud, but notably quieter when running, definitely. Where did this come from?
Where did the motor come from?
So we got this engine from Hitech Marine in Yalla. Absolute guns out there, great at what they do, and I cannot be happy with the service they've given us there. The engine was fitted in about 3 days. The engine went on Wednesday. We had it on the water Friday. Can't complain.
Massive thank you to Shane and Grant and the team out there for doing that filming for us that we were able to show you guys.
To the bit that everyone wants to know, what people really want to know.
All right.
This has been heaps of the questions that have been coming in, and I'll talk about a few bits and pieces in between as we go. These are the stats for fuel economy and fuel flow, and we'll start at trolling. And I'll do some comparison to the last motor as well, which I thought was quite good on fuel anyway. Trolling with this engine at 6 knots, we got between 8 to 8.5 litres an hour at 1650 RPM, which is great economy in my opinion. That's better than the last one that used to sort of sit at around 9.5 to 10 at 6 knots. At 7 knots, it was chewing 9.5 litres an hour at 1700 RPM. And this is where it's going to get a bit more expensive. So what you save at 6 knots when you're trolling for your blue marlin and your tuna and stuff at 8 knots, it's burning 8 to 12 litres an hour, which is notably different. That's at 1900 RPM. I will say that's a lot less revs than we were doing before. To do 8 knots before, we were sitting between 2450, 2500, maybe even 2550 revs to do 8 knots. So that's a notable difference. The revs are down a lot more. So overall, I already know the prop's going to do a lot less turning for a lot more distance. And our cruise speeds, I was really impressed with. Cruising at 22 knots, we're getting 1.7 kilometers to the litre, and we're burning 25 litres an hour, which again is fantastic. That's not bad for 22 knots. At 25 knots, felt like the sweet spot. It felt like the boat was probably its most comfortable cruise speed. It was getting 1.5 kilometers to the litre and burning 30 litres an hour, which is not bad if you consider you're going to get 25 miles for 30 litres. Is great, in my opinion.
Mine too, even though I don't really know anything about it.
As you creep up, still good fuel economy at 27 knots. Didn't really change much. It was just a tad over 30 litres an hour. At 30 knots, it was burning 41 litres an hour, and we're getting 1.35 kilometres to the litre, which is, again, that is not bad for a big engine. And the main one that everyone keeps asking, how fast does it go? We got 42.4 knots, and we're burning 85 litres an hour, and we're getting 0.9 kilometres to the litre. Again, that's not bad for that speed. So we're pretty happy with that. We're very happy with that. Just with those stats on paper, it is from cruise speed down to trolling, it's better on fuel than the 4-cylinder 200 Suzuki we had. So already I'm starting to see that a bit more torque might actually be better on fuel. But in the top end, when you start going over 30 knots, you're going to pay for it. But you'll get home quick. Some of the cool little features that we've found with this, obviously Mercury run the vessel view through the Simrad, so that pairs up quite nice with what we've got already. The fuel management on these are great. We don't have a sender in our fuel tank, so we do rely on the fuel burn part on the smart gauge, and which is pretty good. You're able to set your fuel tank, your fuel tank capacity, and then it just draws off that. And which we did a bit of testing today. We filled it to the brim and filled it up again after testing, and it seemed to be within about half a litre of accuracy of what fuel we could put back in the tank, which is very impressive. I was really happy with that.
Way better than guessing.
So for all the the stats on trolling, cruise speed, and wide open throttle, bear in mind the motor is still only got a few hours on it, and it is still bedding in. And we did all of that with a full tank of fuel, which we don't often run a full tank of fuel in the boat. It's got a 420 litre tank. We usually run it a bit over half, maybe 2/3, but just to keep the weight down, as that extra 150, 200 litres sometimes is not needed, and it's just carrying around weight you don't need. But we've always got plenty of fuel for a day's fishing. But yeah, so to get those stats off carrying a full tank and 2 on board, that's pretty good. Pretty happy with that. And as the motor beds in a bit more and frees up, it should get a little bit better.
We'll keep you posted. You're going to have to get used to doing this more.
I'm pretty good at it. I thought that's pretty good.
Yeah, you did well.
Could you understand me? Speak clearly?
I hope so. We'll be able to.
All right, let's have a look then. Start breaking it down.
Imagine if it wasn't recording.
Oh,